everybody, I'm Logan Chestnut. I'm here opening a box of Azorius for the Ravnica Allegiance pre-release. We will be building a sweet sealed pool that'll have all of the busted Azorius rares that I will learn once I read them. Open this up. Order, authority, control. Persnickety. Know-it-all, control players. Our pre-release promo is, let's see, what is that? Ooh, Deputy of Attention. I love this card. I love this card for standard. I love this card for limited as well. If they don't have a removal spell, it is the hard 2-for-1. It's 1/3, when it enters the battlefield, it detention spheres. It's very clever, their naming on that one. Let's see what else we got. It's a good start though, good start. Turns out they put a lot of good Azorius cards in the sealed Azorius packs. Let's see, Deputy of Attention. Let's see. Ooh, this card's great. Okay, so there's some cool flyer synergies in blue and white. There's a blue one that pumps power and a white one that pumps toughness among flying creatures you control. They're both very good. They're both just good rate and then have another additional awesome ability. Depose Deploy. I love me an ice, as in fire ice, and this has upside on it. I think in limited 2/1/1 flyers plus gain some life. That's pretty good. Eyes everywhere. I don't know how I feel about this. I know it's good against decks that don't have blue, because then it's a think tank. 3 mana at the beginning of each of your up keeps you scry 1. And then you can change control of this and another, let's see, non-land permanent. So you can give this to your opponent, and then they get a scry 1 every turn, but it's also a mind control, so you get that. If they don't have blue mana to activate to give it back, it's just a permanent mind control. Otherwise, you play 6 mana, trade them off, which might be a fun game too. I want to try it out. Azorius Locket, the Lockets are way better than the Key Runes have been. They're still not as good as the Signets, but the Key Runes and the Banners, I guess, and Cons of Tarkir, they were both disappointing, but the Lockets are great. Drawing 2 cards, it's just really expensive divination, and I am in for card advantage no matter the price. Impassioned Order, it's an expensive Soul Sister, Soul Brother. But it's just expensive for the effect. It's not amazing, but it's fun, and it's good in a race situation. This is just a removal spell. It's a common Azorius removal spell. It's pacifism, no, arrest actually, but it has flash. So creatures can't attack or block, and also can't activate their activated abilities, which remains to be seen how good that is in this format. Rest Admonitions is another good Azorius card. It has the addendum mechanic, which is an important one for Azorius. It's their keyword mechanic for the guild. It's only on instants, and when you cast the spell in your main phase, you get an additional or different effect. So this one is return target creature to its owner's hand, so it's just a bounce spell. It's a unsummon. And the addendum is if you bounce the card, when you bounce the creature, if you cast the card during your main phase, you draw a card. So it is not exclude. Repulse, which is also a sweet magic card. I love me a Repulse. Because if you bounce anything that's more than 3 mana, you're card neutral. You use the card to bounce, but you get the card back. And you set them back as much mana as you if it's 3 mana, and if it's bigger, it's even more. And if you hit an aura or something, it's even better. And it's an instant, so it has the ability to like bust out combat tricks. If you block and they do something, and in response you bounce it. It's a very flexible card. I like it a lot. It's part of why I like the addendum mechanic so much. Sphinx's Insight, which is either a heartful homage to Sphinx's Revelation or an embarrassing mockery of the same. Is 4 mana. It's Inspiration, but if you cast it as a 4 mana divination, if you cast that instant during your main phase and draw 2 cards, you also gain 2 life, which is fine. Might be helpful in a race, and a lot of times, if you're not threatening another instant speed spell, it is often to your benefit just to main phase it, or if you want to hit land drops. People don't cast divinations main phase enough. Chemistry's Insights and such. Quench is a fine spell. It's mana leak, but for 2 counter target spell unless its controller pays 2. It's fine. Prone Caracal is fine. I think 3/1. Okay, brief side. Normally I'll take cards like this and just like throw them to the side, but okay. So this is a 2 mana 3/1. It has been bad for a very long time. Oreskos Swiftclaw, they've put one in almost every set. 1 on white for 3/1. And it's been medium to bad almost every time. This, it's got to be especially bad. Orzhov's entire mechanic is making 1/1s after a creature's die. So you trade off in combat, and your 3/1's just going to trade with not even a card. It's not going to be worth it. I think unless you have a really aggressive deck and need to fill in your curve, not worth it. Watchful Giant, Senate Courier. These are all fine cards. I think this is a good. It's the Azorius common. It has the white activated ability, but it's a blue card. So you can put it in other decks, but it's really not very good. It's good in Azorius, though. I think it's a fine spell. Let's see. So put this with Azorius. I like, when I do sealed pools, I really like taking cards and throwing them where I think about they fall, as an amazing, medium, and I'm not going to play them. So I'm going to put the Azorius cards themselves separately, but these blue cards are actually, quite a few of them are very good. I like these quite a bit. Sweet Fixing, I like how they give those to you. These Azorius cards are just going way up here. Let's see. Passion, this card's fine. This card is also fine if you need top end, otherwise it's not very good. I'll have this as an Azorius card because it's not very good outside of that. Let's see what we got. Sweet, sweet packs. I just want to open more packs. So, Vanifar, Vananeer, Vanifar, Vana wherever you are. This card is fine. Let's see, so Wooberg. Let's go over here. This card's really, really good. I love this. I think in limited, well, it's a 1/3, which is fine. If you're an aggressive deck, you know, 1/3 for 2 mana is not an amazing one. But sometimes you get some chip damage, and this +3/+3 makes it so every time past turn 5, you just get attacked however you want, because they're not going to block. You could have a 4/6 on demand. Savage Smash, this card is also great. It's a really good Gruul card, but I think it's unlikely we're going to be in Gruul. It's part of the mechanic of a sealed pool. What we're really hoping is just to open powerful Azorius cards, because we have such a good Azorius start. People talk about bad sealed pools, but really it isn't overall card quality. You open a lot of packs, and you're going to have some good cards, you're going to have some bad cards. But it's how your good cards are distributed. Really the problem is having your power focused in one color combination, or one combination of colors that you can play, no matter how many that ends up. We get some good gates, we can play a few. Let's see. I actually think this card is quite good for the combat trick. The 2 mana +2/+2 has been good. Vampire's Seal, Vampire or something. It's gain life. First strike if you have a vampire, and this one that was gaining life in Ixalan. They're both quite good. I think this flyer for Addendum is much better because it can just kill your opponent. In an aggressive deck, when you're attacking, you just suddenly have a big old flyer. This is a medium removal spell. It gives -4 nego on a creature. It has flash, which is pretty nice, but outside of that, it's not amazing. Orzhov Guildgate, this will help a lot for splashing. Forbidden Spirit, actually, it's a 3 mana 3/3. It's kind of hard to cast, and the ability is fine. It'll stop your opponent from attacking for 1 turn, or stop them from casting spells, and they get to attack you. So it's fine. I think it earns the top spot there. Fly Fiend, not amazing. Probably not running it. Imperious Oligarch, I think is a really good Orzhov common. Sharkdo Crab is an amazingly named Magic card. I am a big fan, but not particularly good in Azorius colors. But if you pick up a couple Simic Guildgates, I'd be happy to run it. Gateway Snake, I love that card. Ophidian is a fine Magic card, and we have at least 1 Guildgate that we're running. And this taps for white mana. At this point, I would put this card in my deck just for Gateway Sneak. Your creatures, if it hits them 1 time and draws a card, you've gotten ahead. I'm happy with that. Like I said, I'll play my expensive card advantage no matter what, especially in sealed. It's normally slow. Marketer's Locket probably doesn't look like it's going in. This Burning Tree Vandal is pretty good, but not amazing. It's going to go down there. The right ability is nice, and it's good in the late game because you get to loot your cards away. This card has a lot of really good flavor text, but it's quite bad. This card is really good. And sealed, I think you just want things that kill your opponent's things. This horn is whatever. Riot is a sweet mechanic. I like that one too. I like mechanics that give you decisions that you don't always have. I enjoy things that open up games. I like games where you have more decisions. Let's see. Oh boy! Maybe the best card in sealed, Mass Manipulation. I'm also a big fan of activating Treasure Map and casting it for many, many amounts in Standard, I think. We'll see. But this card is a game breaker. Let's see. So it's XX, blue, 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 blue. So if you cast it for X equals 1, it costs 6 mana, 4 of which is blue. So you need decent blue mana in your deck to be able to cast it. But even if it's just that, it is in Bolus's Clutches, which was a good Magic card in Dominaria, but as a mind control, something that gains control of another permanent, it lost a little something because if they blow up the enchantment, they get it back. As another case with Mass Manipulation, it takes a bounce spell or something to get their creature back. And if you are in the late game and have 10 lands, you gain control of 3 creatures they control. It's like a kill spell for 3 things, except it also gets you those 3 creatures. It's insane. I love Mass Manipulation. Also, I spoiled it a little bit. I think I like the card for Standard too. Slimebind is still a medium card. Arrestor Zeal is still better than I think it looks. This is a Simic card. Brush Starter is fine. Carrying Up I think is fine. It's a 2/3. There's a common black and a common white 2/3 flyer for 4 mana. There's also a green-red, there's a Gruul hybrid card with, it's a 2/3 with reach. So I think there's going to be a lot of like flying, bumping heads. Part of the reason I think the blue one at least, give it pumping power, is going to be really good. But there are a lot of common 2/3s that interact in the air. Odd. Remains to be seen if that's... Oh, no, that wasn't the one. But it's a good Azorius card. 3/2, enters the battlefield. Scry 1 is a mini Cloud Reader Sphinx, or... what was Watcher of the Mists? So a mini version of that card. They were both very, very, very good. So this card's in our deck, almost certainly. If we're in white or blue, my card's in our deck. We're definitely in blue. And our white's probably our second best color, even not counting the blue-white split cards, or the blue-white cards. High Alert! Okay, so this is a weird magic card. Creatures deal damage with their toughness. They booty blast when they attack. Right now, we have a lot of toughness in our deck. This it's great with, what's the bird? Oh, I put it over here with the blue-white cards. The 1/4 that gets Vigilance. This is a wombo combo, and we can look into trying this card. We'll this is a card we pay attention to at the end when we look at all our other cards and see if it's worth it. But I think it very much could be. Gateway Plaza is awesome for fixing. We'll play it with a Gateway Sneak just to have a blue-white double tap land. You have to pay a mana when it enters, and it enters tapped, or else you have to sacrifice it. So we actually have quite a bit of Rakdos too. But this would go in just for the Gateway Sneak and just for blue-white, but it can help us splash a third color as well. And Semi-Clocket, which green is probably our most likely splash after this, so Semi-Clocket's a fine pickup. Sharkdo Crab is even a splashable card. This is a 4-mana 4/4. It gets bigger and frosts something down when you adapt onto it. Also, a cool mechanic. Simic got a lot. For the +1/+1 mechanic, it normally just gets bigger cards, but the adapt is pretty cool. You get to do lots of cool things. And the Scorchmark's good. This is a good magic card. It's Magna Spray, but it costs 2 mana. But it's still fine and limited. Sometimes you just need to kill things. And there are some graveyard synergies, and it matters for Afterlife and Orzhov. This card is still great. This card is still thoroughly medium. I'm going to treat it as a white card, but I'm going to put it at the bottom. Hybrid cards you can treat as either color. We're much more likely to be main white than main black. Also, could change. Ooh, a foil of a card that I don't think we should play. And we are splashing black. This card is incredible. It's a 4/3 flyer for 4 mana. Flat, fine. I would splash that card. It also can gain Vigilance, can gain Death Touch, and when it dies, makes 2 1/1s. So, a lot of power and toughness in a resilient package. Big fan of Seraph the Scale. So that's going in our deck. This is also going to go in our deck. We are almost certainly playing white now and probably splashing black in an Azorius deck. Multiple of that effect is even better and works very well with Life Alert. This is when your opponent falls and they can't get up. Justicier's Portal is sweet with, there are a few death touching cards. There's a Spirit Cat, which is a sweet card. It's 1 white mana for a 1/2, and you can give it Death Touch by paying a black mana as an activated ability. It's the other card in that cycle with the 1/4 bird. It's the Orzhov one. This card works well with that and other Death Touchers. You blink a creature, and then it gains First Strike. So you can do it for blockers, like surprise attack with a creature, and then use that and get it back. And if you have Death Touch, or a card that gives Death Touch, or something like that, you just eat the creature because you got a First Strike damage, eat the creature, and then it doesn't get to deal damage and regular damage. So it's pretty sweet, but it's really easy to get blown out, because if they have a removal spell, or a mount spell, or a combat trick, then they get your Portal as a card in your hand, plus the other card. But if you have ETB effects, lots of Death Touch or something, it's good. I think this card's good too. Angelic Exaltation. It gives all of your creatures exalted, kind of. If you attack alone with one creature, the creature gets +X/+X for each creature you control. So, this is pretty good. This is a black removal spell, but it's a sacrifice effect. This is also an eminently splashable card if we end up kind of low on removal. Splashing black for removal is a time-honored tradition in Sealed. More removal, but we're probably not in Rakdos. More flavor text. This is a green card, and we're probably not playing it, but... Spire Mangler? I don't know what this card does. This is a new one for me. So, 2 black for 2/1 flash flying. When it enters the battlefield, target creature with flying you control gets +2/+0 until end of turn. So, it's kind of a removal spell, actually. Enters the battlefield and it's a 4/2 flyer. It can target itself, so you can flash it in, make it a 4/1 flyer, and trade it with any creature with or without flying that your opponent controls with 4 less toughness. So it's kind of a removal spell in that sense. Kind of like it. It also can blow out combat, like block here, give it this, have a 2/1 flyer left over. It's pretty good. I think I like that card. This card is still medium. Let's see. What we got? Spirit token. I love this art on the spirit token. Mr. Josh Hass. It's my favorite token of the set. Gruul Guildgate, probably not going in our deck. Cinder Vines, great sideboard card in many formats, maybe. Not so for us. Another Gruul card, probably not us. I don't think we're going to be running this Persistent Petitioners, but I'll put it down here if we need early blockers. It is a fine one, and in very long games, especially in sealed, it can come down to milling. It only mills 1 card at a time when you only have 1 advisor. I don't really know how ubiquitous advisors are outside of this 1 card. Also, interestingly, this last line is not a line of text unlimited. You can have any number of cards named anything in your deck unlimited. You just have to draft them. This is a fine card. It's a 2/5 unblockable Vigilance for 5 mana. I think it is fine, and it is a kill condition, and it also blocks on turn 5. It's kind of medium. This card's not great. I don't think it's very good. Dead Rebels. This is a double regrowth. It's a card I would not really consider splashing, but it exists. And it's a fine card. You don't need the spectacle. You just, like, double regrowth, like 2 creatures. It was pretty good. Raise Dead, I guess. Double Raise Dead. This is a 2/2 Death Touch for 3. Kind of a bad removal spell like the other ones. This is a Senate Courier. That's probably going in our deck, especially with Life Alert. That's great. More of that Sphinx's thingamajig. More Ices that make 1/1 flyers. So that was a good Azorius pack. Oh, this card's great. I think this card's very, very good. Haunter of Night Veil was an original Gate Crash. I remember my opponent Progenitor mimicking a Haunter of Night Veil in sealed. It was filthy. They were playing Sultai, I guess now, deck. And so they made a copy of this thing, which gives creatures your opponent controls neg1, nego. So it makes their creatures slightly smaller in power. But then they played something that copied it, and also made a copy every turn. So all of my creatures got like neg8 nego at the end of it. I lost that game, but miserably slowly. This card's pretty good. I actually like it a lot, but we are not playing green. This is how few green cards I have so far. It's kind of difficult to open. I have 1 pack left? Yeah, I don't know. We're not playing green. You can just throw this aside. We're almost certainly not playing red either, unless we find a really good splash card. This card's not a good splash card, because you'd need the mana early for it to be effective, and it's double red to activate its ability to make it effective again. So, right now we're on blue-white, maybe splashing black. Well, almost certainly splashing black, at least a little bit for Sarah. Right now I'm hoping to open another piece of black fixing so I don't have to play a basic swamp unless I play more black cards. So I got an Illusion. The card that makes that is sweet, but we will not go there. Civic Gate is not a piece of black fixing. This card is great. Big Fin. So it makes a Sarah Angel, 4/4 white and blue token, Sarah's Angel. Or, yeah. Makes a 4/4 Sphinx. Flying Vigilant, 4/4. The other one is the good mode of Azorius Charm. Well, the good mode is just draw a card on Azorius Charm. But the Griptide version, you put an attacking creature on top of his owner's library. Attacking or blocking creature on top of his owner's library. This card's just good. It's a 2-mana removal spell or a 5-mana 4/4 Flying Vigilance creature. Both sides are very good and limited, and I'll happily put both in. Scrabbling Claws is a sideboard card, but probably not one that'll ever come in the deck. This is a very good green card, and probably not in our deck either. Let's see, so this is... Oh, this is a really good black removal spell. Okay. Our first sight is whatever. People put this in their deck for the first sight, and they're wrong to do so. But it's easy to cast if we don't have our black source. It cycles. Exile target card from a graveyard, draw a card. It's like a mid-game, you can always cast it. Early game, you won't be able to turn 2 cycle it very often. So that's kind of the downside, so you shouldn't put it in your deck for that. But this is, remember, Crackling Doom. This is Crackling Doom, but it doesn't deal damage to them, it gains you life, and we're a pretty controlling deck, so it's even better for us. As target player sacrifices a creature with the greatest power among creatures they control, you target your opponent, or yourself if you're very, very desperate, and you gain life equal to its power. So, I like this card a lot. This is going in our deck, even off of just Orzhov Guildgate and the 5-color gate, even if we weren't playing the other black spells. But these cards are definitely in our deck. Scorch Mark is still fine. We are still not playing red. This is our 3rd Arrester's Admonition. We can bounce a lot of things. No one's killing us with auras. This is... Okay, so I've heard different things about this card. 1 mana, 1/1. It's good to enable Spectacle, but Shades are really bad when you have a 3 mana to activate their ability. I think it's good, but not that good. This is a 3/1. It is still bad, and it's still a white card. Let's see what we got. Active Treason on our deck. Final Payment is a splashable card. It's a 2-mana removal spell. It's Destroy target creature, so it's Terminate. But as an initial cost, you have to sacrifice a creature, which you almost never want to do. You're down 2 cards. Or pay 5 life. Or you can sacrifice an enchantment. Probably not going to do that. And it destroys target creature. It's efficient removal, but not on cards. It's mana efficient removal. Not on life or cards. You just have to pick one. Get the point. If your creatures have been pacified or something, what's the white removal spell we have? It's kind of free, and it's just a 2 mana instant speed removal spell, which is pretty good. Open the Gates, Mana Spider is fine. This card has been showing up. I love that it's now just a regular limited card. 3/5 reach for 5 is good stats. This card is still bad. We are playing blue and white. Let's take away all the cards that aren't blue, white, or splashable black cards, which means it needs single black in its mana cost. Not using any of these. Azorius Guildgate. Card's great. Card's great. Boop. 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 This is not a white card. Not really. It's not a card we want in our deck. Just gonna ignore it, even though the one's foiled. And almost there. Orzhov Guildgate and Gateway Plaza are only free-ish black sources. So now we have the question of, do we put another black source into our deck to be able to cast our spells easily? We almost certainly have to. We have 2 Azorius Guildgates. That helps a lot. Okay, so this taps for blue and white mana, and it helps you splash black cards. Because you can run 1 fewer blue or white source in your deck, because this one taps for both. Swamp will tap for your total amount of mana, no matter what. But if you have a whole bunch of double color cards, you can't count this twice, so it's not a blue and a white source, it's a blue or a white source. So it gets worse if you have more hard double colored cards. But we have a lot of ways to get around bad fixing here. So I think we can play a Swamp, probably not 2. And probably just these 2 black cards. But possible splashes are these. These I want in my deck, because this is free. I can cycle it if I really need to. That one's good. And the rest of them are just great Azorius cards. Alright, and these are more Azorius cards. This High Alert, we'll look at our final build, but it's actually looking pretty good. We got 2 of the birds and 2 of the spirits. I think it's actually pretty good. I am Sewer King, said Rat. I am quick and cunning, and I know every tunnel. No, I am king, said Zombie. I am cold and deadly, and no rot can harm me. Then Croc came and ate them both. It's great flavor text. Sometimes you get bored looking at your magic cards and you shuffle them around in your hand, and it's really good to have great flavor text. Okay. So, Spirit Tribal, we did it. Then I start building a curve and seeing what I need most in my deck. Looks like at the start, I'm thinking lots of 3-drops, which is not an amazing place to be. It's not a great curve. Good thing about Limited, you want to build a curve. You want to be able to do things on each turn of the game. The person who uses the most mana in a game, Limited or Constructed, will probably win the game. They're very likely to win the game. People have a smooth curve and get to the balancing mechanic of Magic. You have cards, you have life, and you have mana, and if you don't use your mana efficiently, your cards just aren't as good as they could be. So being able to use your mana efficiently, very important. You want to be able to do things on many turns. Squinch is a fine card, and I like counterspells unlimited. We didn't open, like, there's a cancel that mills them 4 cards or something. It mills the spells controller 4 cards. It's a fine card, and in unlimited I actually play some counterspells. And this card's good because everyone plays their bombs. Having the mana is not quite so bad. Let's see. I also separate creatures and non-creatures because you want critical density of creatures in your deck just to be able to finish the game and pressure your opponent when they stumble, even if you're not a very aggressive deck, and we're not particularly aggressive. This is a great green card, but it is not a blue or white card, so let's get it out of here. Seneca, still great. So I'm going to lay out the cards that are okay and across the mana curve. This I'm going to count as a 4-drop. I anticipate casting this version a lot more, and if I do cast this version, the make 2 1/1 flyers, because it works well with the spirit, and it's just much better than tapping your creature drawing card. If we need to, we can move it down there, but I anticipate casting a lot more for this. This I'm going to put here because it's a good on-curve spell, and it gives me something to do in the early game. Just for my sense of ease, to make me feel like I have a better curve, I'll put it there, even though 5 mana Sarah Angels. Pretty good. Pretty familiar too. 5 mana Sarah Angel is Sarah Angel. I'm putting this one here because it also makes creatures, so I'm putting it with our creatures. Gateway Snake's also very good. More Arrester's Admonitions. We got 3 of these. This effect is not as good in multiples, but it's still fun. This card doesn't look like it fits in our deck a ton because we're not super aggressive, and we don't have billions of creatures. Don't we have another deploy? Am I imagining that? Oh, we do. It's right in front of me. Things Insight. Slime Binds. I think I'm off the Petitioners unless I really need that 2-drop. This card is in our deck. And kind of as a 4-drop as well. Okay. Card's not great. So, let's see. These are possible cards. I'm going to set them over here. This right now, I'm playing these. We're playing these, and we're probably playing one swamp. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. I can count in my head, but that was for you all too. Okay. I got 27 cards. Normally we want to play about 17 lands, about 23 spells. Good number to hit your spells. Sometimes you play a little more, sometimes you play a little less. Here, I feel as though I want to get rid of some 3-drops because it's pretty expensive. And we have not so much early in the game. These creatures are all really good, and the couriers are really good in our deck. High Alert, untap target creature. Okay, does it hurt us with anything in our deck? This is really good with this. This is a 5/5 Vigilance, unblockable for 5. That's very, very good with High Alert. So big fan of there. Yeah, so it hurts Seraph, who cares, but it's great with Spirit. So we're definitely playing this High Alert here. If nothing else, sometimes you gotta figure out how cards work in new formats. I think I'm gonna take this out. I think we have enough ways to get card advantage. This Arrester's, how does Arrester's Admonition Deputy work? Not in the Fiend Hunter way, in the fixed Detention Sphere way. You can't bounce it and keep the creature forever and then recast it. But it was a good hope. They fixed that. I'm thinking get rid of this, one of these Arrester's Admonitions. Then our hard removal is this and this, which is not amazing, but Warrant helps, Quench helps, Depose can buy us time. I'm okay with that. I would take another removal spell, but I don't want to play a second swamp. 3 sources is enough for 2 and 1/2 cards. I'm fine with that. Let's see. Azorius Locket I like a lot. This Eye's everywhere. This is expensive. It's extreme. I'm thinking maybe this card comes in against non-blue decks. Oh god, this is also great art. Thank you, Neil Sam. But I'm thinking this might not be in our main deck because it's expensive. It doesn't affect the board until turn 6. We have plenty to do in the late game. And we're glutted on 3s at the moment. In fact, I'd want the other Arrester's Admonition more. So let's count. This is 3-drop, 4-drop. Other Sphinx's Insight is looking a little sketch too. This also could buy us time. If we want to move the Depose deploys down, these can buy us time if we're in the early game and have something that we need to do. I think 1 Toughness might be terrible in this format. There's a lot of things that ping in the flyers for the same reason I don't like the 3/1s from before. I'm thinking the Sage Rose one. I like the Scry too. Like Omen Speaker is a card you felt like you could trade off earlier. Just the Scry 2 is almost worth a card, especially in the early game when you need to hit your land drops and develop your mana. But also draw spells. It widens the number of hands you can keep when you keep a easy to cast 2-drop that Scries 2, like can dig you to the cards that you need. You can keep almost any hand that can cast this card because you can Scry 2 and find whatever you like. On your turn 3, you'll have been able to see 5 cards on the draw, I guess. But I think I'm going to take it out just because I think the 2/1 body is so bad in this format. But eager to find out whether I'm right about that. This is a 4-drop. I put these in the wrong place. This is under consideration. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20, 21, 22, 23. That is 23 cards without this Arrester's Admonition. So is Bounce a Creature or Bounce a Creature Draw a Card better than draw 2 cards for 4 mana? I think this is better. Okay, so it looks worse on the curve to take this out. And this may be, on average, a more powerful card. But I think I'm going to cut the Sphinx's Insights. If I find myself in a particularly slow and grindy game, I'll be boarding in cards like that. Like this against non-blue decks. The other one that's against other grindy decks. And I could put in more removal if I need them. More early drops against aggressive decks. I also have this. Some of the early drops. And some of the Slime Binds if I feel like I need more removal. Or I'm playing against other aggressive decks. But this looks like my pool. I'd probably play 1 swamp, 3 sources for 2.5 cards, because I can cycle this in the worst case. In the mid game, I can cycle it for free. That's pretty nice. But that's it. Thank y'all for looking. I hope everyone has fun at the RNA pre-release. Hopefully you open a pretty sweet pool like this. We don't have tons of broken rares, but I think this is a deck that can really get in there. Also, big fan of making a bunch of spirits and attacking for 20 with high alert. Be eager to see that happen. Thanks. My name is Logan. This is Myrtle Beach Games, and we'd love to see you on pre-release weekend.